and an environment that somehow rewards that maladaptive strategy that forms, then, it is self-evident that treatment has to make those strategies stop working.
And just look at the age of social media. All those things are rewarded by social media. Like, hey, I'm filming myself. Hey, hey, see me. See my shirt down here, my titties and stuff. They want you to be this way, so you're rewarded by being, a crazy hoe. That they think like you're fun. They think you're more adventurous and whatnot.
First step, I think, is with therapy, stop just asking, is she anxious? Is she this? Does she feel this? Ask people around. Can she keep commitments? Can she not lie when that is the easiest option? Can she tolerate disappointment and compromise? Can she care for others without making herself the center of the story? And try to have that verified. These are the sort of things that will tell us, is this person safe to love? Is this person someone who can contribute to society and live alongside others without harming them? And then, as with antisocial personality disorder, we have to use any leverage we have available to us, be that in the therapy room or parents or society. I spoke about society last time. We all know what needs to change. We're sadly rewarding all of those fast life strategy, right? With seduction and exhibitionism and glorifying self-expression and emotional volatility and authenticity. All of those things keeps us from catching out borderline dynamic. And not just that, it increases those traits.
Exactly. That's basically what I was just saying.
We have to remove those rewards if we want to stop the borderline behavior. And so, for example,
and part of what is the whole problem of this? Simps. Guys say, you look beautiful, you're great, I would make you my wife. Stupid shit like that. Liking all their photos. Saying, you guys know the deal with it. That's a problem because it gaslights them like, geez, I'm like a little celebrity now. I just put up this, one picture with my titties out and I got like 45 like really nice comments. Now, do I appreciate the comments? Not really, no, but it did boost my ego up. That's their mindset. So they get that all the time. It's never been that way before. If you were a beautiful woman before, you would get male attention and people may tell you're beautiful all the time, but that may just be like 4 times a day. Now it's like 50 times a day you get that. That gives you an inflated ego. There's just no way that it can't. It would do that to anybody. I'm sure if some of us were in here and we got that type of female attention all the time and we're like, told we're hot 17 times a day and had the pick of the litter of chicks, that would boost your ego up more. That's how they live. And from basically like, from a very young age till they're about 40. Even less than that. So they didn't really have to do any work for it either.
In therapy, if threats of self-harm always suspends expectations, always, the emotional outbursts, they always reorganize the family, then of course that becomes a very powerful strategy. So that needs to stop. But that is very far from where therapy is. We are so, one of the things is that we are so afraid of liability, right? So this very old school attitude, and I know retired psychiatrists who are very good at.
Let me change it to a different one from the same woman that I was watching that I kind of liked a little bit more. Because she's, we're not therapists trying to diagnose this.
We completely blind ourselves to the growing prevalence. We don't want to admit how easily certain temperaments go out of control. What happens when they're left untamed? What happens when excessively neurotic women are not taught to emotionally regulate? We're trained to think that women are so harmless. They're just, innocent creatures, just full of good impulses. No, they can wreak havoc, and we're not doing anything to prevent them to spiral into pathology.
Did she say any lies there? I didn't hear any. And I don't think she's really a grifter in this. This is only like this, second, this is like, I watched a little bit of this video and the other one. So even if she is grifting on it, it's like, well, it's a problem that does need to be addressed in our society. This is equality. This is what equality looks like, ladies. Imagine if you had the equal punishment under the law. Like, well, there is equal punishment under the law, but we see, how many times do we see these female teachers diddle students every week? You see them diddling students in middle school and stuff like that. And they get like a 2-year sentence. And they go back and do it again. If it's a man, he gets like a 20-year sentence. It's just, we don't have the yin and yang the right way here. It's got to be a certain way, and it's just not that way right now.
Welcome back to Psychobabble, where we expose bad therapy and the narrative.
And I don't think she's from the United States. I think she's from like some Scandinavian place or something like that. And I could save this chick. She's pretty hot, actually.
That contribute to our poor mental health. I'm Hannah Spear. Today we're going to talk about pathological female behavior, the cluster B pathologies, because we are surrounded by the wreckage they cause.
Look at this. Look at that.
I don't know what you want from me.
All over the internet, you can see viral videos of grown women throwing tantrums in public.
Now, we know this because we watch it on my show all the time and stuff like that, and these police videos and everything like that. It's out of control. This doesn't happen in places like, Romania, Middle East, Eastern Europe, and whatnot. They might try to throw a temper tantrum, but it gets shut down right away. It just stops. We a little bit too part of this is too, we have a Christian mindset here that is too soft. As Christians in the West, we are too soft. We're letting women preach in the church. We're just letting them do too much and getting too big for their britches, too cocky, basically. Because think about the balls it takes to do some of the stuff that they're doing right here, and just the narcissism of it.
Okay, let's go.
And this is a this isn't just a women problem here. This is a
well.
This is a little bit of that type of problem right here.
Gotcha, babe. Okay.
Didn't let me get my moment, so I want to say my name is Khadija.
You did get your moment, but see the inflated ego needs a moment times 10.
Diallo, and I'm graduating today.
And
how much you want to? Do you think she can read? I don't think she could probably read. I don't think she can read. That's another thing too. We have the dumbest people ever are graduating high school right now. But they have the biggest ego.
whenever I speak about this, people come out and they say, this is exactly my sister, my partner, my children. There's so many people suffering from this.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. This is swept under the rug, and it's not talked about enough, really, you know, in an official capacity. And again, because females are the majority of therapists and stuff like that, so they are going to try to make females look better. And you know, if I gaslight my client, I get to see them longer. So, you know, and I get to prescribe more drugs to them, so I get more kickbacks and whatnot. That's kind of another thing how that works.
And the irony is that the prevalence of all the different mental disorders is
Holy, those went way too fast. Hang on, I want to look at those. I got to refresh the video.
And I'm graduating today.
And whenever I speak about this, people come out and they say, this is exactly my sister, my partner, my children. There's so many people suffering from this. And the irony is that the prevalence of all the different mental disorders.
Yeah. Percent U.S. anxiety prevalence, ages 18 to 25, 139% increase from 2010. Ages 26 to 34. So we've covered this before in the show, that basically people born after I think it was like 1996 and up, they are the coddled American mind. They've had the smartphones from middle school and above, and they tend to have the worst anxiety because, they judge each other the most and everything like that. They can get prescribed all types of drugs really easy. Access to weed is another problem of this entire thing. I sometimes smoke weed, but the weed that they can get access to, it's like crack. It's not like regular weed. You're going to have like a full schizophrenic meltdown smoking this weed. And then you're going to have psychosis and stuff like that. And then you have anxiety, and then you're smoking more weed for the anxiety and stuff like that. So that's another thing that is fueling part of this too. I'm not saying take weed away or anything. I'm just saying that is part of it that people don't want to talk about.
Is rising. We hear about it all the time. We're in a mental health crisis, but somehow the rise in cluster B pathologies that we feel all around us is not reflected in the research. Somehow the official prevalence of cluster B has not been updated for 2 decades. The irony is that psychiatrists and psychologists,
and they're doing that because, why is that? Well, big pharma has a lot to do with that too. So if they have it like underdiagnosed, they can just have it medicated more to make it seem like the medicine is doing more. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these are done through colleges and everything like that too. So they can make science kind of say what they want. Make no mistake about it. A lot of times these people will just shill to get the government grants coming in. They'll just say whatever they need. That's what happened with a lot of global warming stuff. They're like, yeah, well, the environment changes, but we'll say it's global warming because I get those government grants. I get that state funding. The college pays me more. I'm not going to ruffle any feathers. So this is sort of related to those type of patterns.
Are very quick to diagnose high functioning individuals with mental health disorders, but they remain very reluctant to recognize cluster B conditions. And I'm going to explain now how exactly ideology clouds the roots of these dysfunctions, and how it's possible that we avoid discovering the true prevalence of cluster B pathologies. And I will focus on the female presentations here, because the male version, the antisocial, is widely recognized, widely studied, and these individuals you will find prosecuted and incarcerated. But the female coded form.
Yep. What did she just say? They're more likely to get in trouble, and actually really get in trouble. When it's women, how many times do we see, oh, it's just a slap on the wrist, she's drunk driving, but we'll let someone else drive her home. She had her first abortion at 17. You know, she's been to rehab a couple times, but she's doing okay. She was just having fun, you know. Um, she's 80K in student debt, but you know, that wasn't her fault. That wasn't her fault. She's 80K in student debt. And she went, you know, on trips all over the place getting banged out by all these guys and stuff like that. That's not her fault, really. She's just a girl. She didn't know. Her frontal lobe wasn't developed. See, that's what happened. Her frontal lobe wasn't developed. But for a guy, his frontal lobe is developed, and he can go to, like, you know, the military and get killed and all sorts of stuff. But not for her. Nope. She's just a girl in a girl's world. The girl's just trying to have fun.
It's far more likely to be excused and misinterpreted and framed as other types of mental disorders because we hesitate.
Look at this menace here. Jesus. I effing hate having PTSD triggered. I don't know what ASD means for, because what the F do you mean my manager slightly raised her voice at me and I got 2 seizures and nearly had a panic attack? I'm not even going to say anything.